Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told I had a voice radio, so today I'm going to be showing you the decks that you should be considering playing when the rotation happens. I've shown you all about the rotation, I've given you my headlines, and I've given you a video about each individual set that we're losing. And the most common question I've been getting since then, Ross, what should I play after rotation? So I thought, you know what? Let's do a video. Now, with the rotation, some decks you just physically can't play anymore. Decks like Gyarados, Primal Groudon, Mega Rayquaza. These decks are gone. The main attackers are rotating in September. There are other decks that, although they haven't gone, are just not viable anymore. Take a deck like Mega Gardevoir. It really needs Skyfield, and it needs to run through its deck super quick using cards like Shaymin. With neither Shaymin nor Skyfield surviving the rotation, Mega Gardevoir is going to lose an awful lot of steam. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you 6 decks which I think will be good after rotation. That is not to say these are the only 6 decks that will be good after rotation. I may well do a sequel video where I show you more good decks. But just for the moment, if you're looking to play after rotation in September, these are probably the first decks you should have a look at. Starting off with a couple of new decks, we will start off with GOLISOPOD. GOLISOPOD is a new GX that's coming out in Burning Shadows, and it's really, really good. It's the first attack we're looking here, first impression. 30 damage, 90 if you became active this turn. Very nice indeed. Now you can get it in the active in multiple ways. You can play cards like Switch. You can use things like ZOROARK to stand in the active and use Floatstone to retreat it, etc. You've got plenty of options. Why is GOLISOPOD good? Because 120 damage for 1 energy is great. We are losing Forest of Giant Plants, but to be perfectly honest, you can use a combination of Tapu Lele's Wonder Tag and a supporter card Wally to evolve up straight away on the first turn of the game, and you are absolutely rolling. Choice Band puts it up to 150, and there's different ways to play this deck. You could play it with Decidueye, although I fear that's going to be too slow without Forest of Giant Plants. You can play it with the promo Lurantis to add a whole bunch of damage, or you can just play it with other attackers like Zoroark. Zoroark's a really good attacker, and it attacks for just a double colourless energy, and it's got a really good ability which combos beautifully with GOLISOPOD because you jump in the active and free retreat. However you choose to play this deck, you really want to be focusing around GOLISOPOD GX. 120 damage will 1-hit KO if they're weak, 2-hit KO if they're not. It is fantastic. And don't forget, of course, that because you're attacking for just a single energy, you can use Max Potion to heal him as well. And let's not forget the non-GX GOLISOPOD, who's really good against GXs with the armor ability reducing damage and Resolute Claws that does 150 to a GX. 180 if you've got a Choice Band on there. And quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, with a card like that, why would you not? Gardevoir GX is the other new deck from Burning Shadows, which I think is going to be really viable after the rotation. There are several things in Gardevoir GX's favour. Firstly, you've got a really good ability allowing you to attach an extra energy per turn. Secondly, you've got a really good attack that does 30 damage times the number of energy attached to both active. And don't forget, what you could do here is attach a fairy energy with your ability and a double colourless as your attachment for the turn. And then you are, in one turn, hitting for 90 if your opponent's active has 0 energy on them, which they usually won't. The single energy again means you can use Max Potion as long as you don't pile too much energy on Gardevoir. You've also got Twilight GX here. Shuffle 10 cards from your discard pile into your deck. With Versus Seeker rotating out, this gives you access to all of your supporters again. With Garbodor ruling the format, this allows you to put all of your item cards back, so Garbodor isn't going to destroy you. Not to mention that you're going to be using Tapu Lele. Every deck's going to be using Tapu Lele. And Tapu Lele's attack also is really good when you pile energy on, so there's synergy there. We've got the new Diancie that's got a really nice attack for 1 fairy energy that allows you to search your deck and evolve one of your bench Pokemon. So you put a Routes down turn 1, you evolve it using Diancie for 1 energy into a Kirlia, but that Kirlia starts on the bench, so you can then immediately evolve up into Gardevoir, and you've got a turn 2 Gardevoir without having to use Rare Candy. Then of course you attach a double colourless energy for your turn, a fairy energy with your ability, and you're hitting a minimum 90. Not good enough, I've got more good news, because we've got Gallade here as well, who also evolves from Kirlia. Gallade has got a really good attack for a double colourless energy that does 130 if you've used a supporter this turn, and then hits for fighting weakness as well as fairy weakness. And it's got the really good ability Premonition that allows you to reorder the top 5 cards of your deck. And some Japanese players have even been playing this with Octillery, so you rearrange them with Gallade and draw them with Octillery. Now I've done a video about a Japanese deck list for Gardevoir, check that out for more information, but I think Golisopod and Gardevoir are going to be the 2 decks from Burning Shadows that are going to be really good straight away. But how about some old decks that are going to survive the rotation very nicely? First of all, we've got Metagross. Metagross doesn't really lose very much in the rotation. Metagross needs Rare Candy to evolve up, it's got it. It needs Alolan Ninetales to search for Pokemon. It keeps it. It needs Max Potion. Yeah, I know I've mentioned Max Potion in all the decks so far. I'm sorry. A lot of the good decks can abuse Max Potion right now. And it keeps Max Potion. It doesn't really need any support attackers like that. Metagross is a very straightforward deck. You get multiple Metagross set up. When you've got multiple Metagross set up, you use Giga Hammer for 150, 180 with a choice band. You can't use it the following turn, so you retreat, paying the retreat cost to get rid of all 3 of those energy. You then use either 3 of the Geotech system ability, or 2 of the ability in your attachment from hand, to build up a second Metagross and hit for another 150, with the added bonus that then Metagross has no energy, so you can Max Potion very easily. 250 HP is huge, resistance to Psychic is amazing with Garbodor running around, and oh yeah, there is a very good chance that Gardevoir is going to be the best deck in the format, and Metagross will destroy Gardevoir because you're hitting for such easy one-hit KOs. Although, to be fair, Gardevoir's got the speed advantage, so maybe it won't be that one-sided. The biggest downside of Metagross GX is that it's weak to Volcanion, but Volcanion, although it might be good, it's not a deck we're looking at in this particular video. You'll see why soon. ESPEON Garbodor. Garbodor, I've said this many times, I'll say it again. Garbodor will never not be good. One of 2 things is going to happen with Garbodor. He's got the attack Trash Avalanche that does 20 damage for every item card in your opponent's discard pile. So either your opponent plays lots of item cards and you smash them with Trash Avalanche, or they don't play many item cards purely as a counter for Garbodor. So either Garbodor will be good, or people will deliberately be playing in a way that Garbodor can't take advantage of. Either way, that's a good card. Generally, it's partnered with ESPEON here, because you've got the commonality of Psychic Energy, but ESPEON is just generally a really good card. You can do 30 for a single energy and Confuse, and don't forget the energy evolution Eevee, so you attach Psychic Energy, evolve up straight away, and then Confuse. You attach a double colourless, you can then Psychic, which does great damage, 60 plus 30 for every energy attached to that Pokemon. And for the same attack cost, you can use Divide GX, putting 10 damage counters wherever you want. Maybe you pepper some damage down to take a couple of bench KOs from half knocked out Pokemon. Maybe you just KO a couple of Pokemon ready to evolve. I don't know. But I do know that this is a very good deck and will remain as such. ZOROARK DRAMPA. Now, we've already mentioned ZOROARK a little bit because he's a pretty good partner with Golisopod, but there's so much to like about ZOROARK. The ability allows you to jump in the active so you can't have a Pokemon stranded active. Mindjack for a double colourless energy does 10 damage plus 30 more for each of your opponent's bench, which is brilliant because it punishes your opponent for benching Pokemon, so either you do lots of damage or they play in a way that they don't want to. Either way, you're rolling. Let's not forget you can then Break Evolve Zoroark into Zoroark Break, and then Foul Play for 1 Darkness Energy gets to copy your opponent's active Pokemon's attack, and yes, that includes GX attacks, except you don't have to do all that discarding malarkey. You might have to discard the Dark Energy, but that's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's really good. Tapu Bulu, you get to one-hit KO a Tapu Bulu, and you discard all the energy attached to Zoroark. Well, that's just 1 Darkness Energy. It's crazy good. But maybe you don't want the break, because now this is not coming out till Shining Legends in October, but we're getting Zoroark GX. Now, Zoroark GX is an either-or. You either go Zoroark and then maybe the break, or you go Zoroark GX. Either way, it's really, really good. Zoroark GX has got the ability the same as the old Empoleon, Diving Draw, except now it's called Exchange. Discard 1 card from your hands, draw 2. In a format where we don't have Shaman, this is amazing. And then for a double colourless energy, 20 damage for each Pokemon you have in play. So if your opponent isn't benching Pokemon so you can use Zoroark, you can use Zoroark GX. Or for 2 dark energy, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon's attacks and use it. So it's like Zoroark Breaks attack, except it's any of their Pokemon, not just the active. Let me be clear about this. Even before Zoroark GX comes out, Zoroark's going to be amazing. It's just nice that you've got Zoroark GX coming out in October. And the partner for this is DRAMPA. Righteous Edge, 20 damage, discard a special energy. Quite nice for slowing down decks that are reliant on special energy. Big Wheel GX, really, really good consistency. Shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 10 cards. But the absolute star here is Berserk. 150 for free energy as long as you've got a damaged Pokemon on your bench. Maybe you use Rainbow Energy, maybe you use Potown. Puts free damage counts on one of your Pokemon if you evolve from the hand while it's out. Either way, it's crazy good. It is going to be a very, very good deck. And honestly, once a GX comes out, it's only going to get better. And in this video, I'm going to give you one more deck to watch out for after rotation. Again, if there's any you think I've missed, chuck them down in the comments. I'm happy to do a second video. But when I sat down to think about after rotation and the decks that I think are going to be big, these are the first 6 that came to mind. Comment section if you disagree. Usual rules. Be nice, but go nuts. DARKRAI is great already. We've already got the Breakpoint DARKRAI that does 20 damage, plus 20 for each energy, dark energy, attached to all of your Pokemon. But there are several reasons this is getting better in the upcoming format. Number 1, DARKRAI GX is coming out in Burning Shadows. It's got an amazing ability that allows you to resurrect it from your discard pile, put it on your bench with a dark energy from your discard attached to it. So as soon as you've got a DARKRAI GX and an energy in your discard, that means that you can use the ability and you do 20 more damage. That's crazy good. Wish Batten's coming out. It's kind of like Experience Share, but better. You attach it to a Pokemon, and when that Pokemon gets KO'd, you move 3 basic energy from that Pokemon to one of your bench. That's going to be really good in a deck that relies on keeping energy on the field. And as if all of that wasn't good enough, although I believe it might be, we've got Marshadow coming out. His ability allows you to copy the attacks of any basic in your discard pile, so as long as you've got 1 DARKRAI EX in the discard, you can copy Dark Pulse using Marshadow, and then you can hit for the same amount of damage for just 2 dark energy, but now you're hitting fighting weakness as well. DARKRAI has ruled the format for a while, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't see DARKRAI seeing a reduction in play at any time soon whatsoever. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but it very much appears that DARKRAI is here to stay, and you can be happy or sad about that. But I presume it may well be sad. They are the decks, ladies and gentlemen, that I would be considering looking at after rotation. GOLISOPOD, Gardevoir GX, Metagross, ESPEON Garbodor, ZOROARK DRAMPA, and DARKRAI GX. There's many different ways to build them. It's going to take some time to get the best deck list, but the good news is I'm here, and you know that when we figure out the best way to play these decks, I'm going to bring you a handy video explaining it all. So make sure you click that like button, make sure you get involved in the comments, go nuts, be nice. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio for some live action, and if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. By far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.